I know you expect me to be a paragon of fashion, but let's save some saves. I honestly just felt like some of you guys forgot that I was from Florida, so it's worth reminding you every once in a while. We have a great event on Twitch, probably once a month. It's definitely more than that, but I always say it's going to be once a month. That's called Saving Saves, and over a 2-day period, we have people submit their saves to me on Twitch, and then I review them with the help of however many people happen to be there that day, providing input, helping you improve. You tell us what's wrong, we go out and try and fix it, from tactics to finances to scouting to maybe your save is just really good and you want to show it off. That's been happening too. But this time I've held a couple back because we're going to make a YouTube video, and if you guys like it, a YouTube series where I go through and save people's saves, and we all learn a bunch of things along the way, including me. So I have selected 8 of the saves that were submitted as part of this process to be saved on this video today, which means I need to keep the saving of each of these saves down to 2 minutes, or Reese will have my head. He already has my heart. Now for our first save from the illustrious Ollie W, who says, my club has gotten promoted to the top league and turned professional, parentheses, yay. However, this has taken up all of our wage budget, so I cannot really make signings. Also, we have like 0 monies. My team is by far the worst in the league, and there's very little in the way of income on the horizon. They did very nice. They did a little conditions section. 30,000 pounds in debt, well over wage budget, worst team in the league, no obvious future income source. That's about that. So we are now in the save. Where are we? We're in the MFL. It's Samuel L. Jackson's favorite league. Shkindia. Is this Macedonia? So he's loaded a Macedonian database, and we're FK Garvon, insecure financially, but now fully professional in the top Macedonian league. Ollie started in the dregs of Macedonia and has been flying up, but very clearly has hit a wall now, having turned professional in the top league. So the season preview, well, I mean, could it be worse? Yes, you still have like 5 times the odds to get to Leicester winning the Premier League, but that's okay. You've done some good things. You're only $80,000 in debt, US dollars in debt, and you are overspending your wage budget. So it looks like you've been aggressive in acquiring the right players. You need a healthy dose of this video, which teaches you how to sign players for free with the free loans. That would be my #1 recommendation. But let's do a quick talent level check. So like star players. Like, I don't know what I expected from the top Macedonian league, but I probably expected a little more than that. These guys are not very good. That's good news though for you, because that means free loans from around the world are going to be able to actually significantly improve your team. The only thing that would stop that would be some sort of competition rule that limits the number of players you can have from other countries, and that exists. You have a max of 5 foreign players. You need to use those 5 foreign player spots. In the future, you use them for Wonder Kids. Right now, because you need to get yourself into Europe once so that you get a big paycheck and all of a sudden you're better than all the other Macedonian teams, you need to get 5 free loan players. It's actually an exciting time. You are still in a transfer window. You need to be finding players that are available for free, offering them trials. If they turn down the trials, get a scout in there just for like a day or 2, and life will be good. No, you didn't. You did not. This is a tricky situation because I was wondering where your wage is going, because you're not paying anybody on your senior team any money. It's because you have a full U21 team that you don't need to have, right? You need to figure out which of these 5-star potential guys are worth keeping around and which of them aren't. And keep in mind that the fact that the person you have appraising this is probably not great. Nikola Vorelevsky, he's 7s. So we don't know for sure who's got the potential and who doesn't. They're all 5-star potential. They're obviously all not going to make it. Your coaching staff is bad. Your facilities are bad. That's no fault of yours. You can't be paying for this many people down here. You got to pick the good ones, like the 16-year-old who's a 2-star, right? And this guy totally looks like he could already be in your team, even though he's a bit of a he's a striker. He's a poacher. This guy does look like he could already be in and around your team. He's professional. You'd want to keep a guy like this, or these 17-year-olds that we know don't really have quite the same sort of potential. You probably want to start getting rid of those people because you can't afford this. But Ollie, I'm sad. I must leave you there. We must us go to our next save. Let's slow down for a second. I'm gonna look to do this with tactics as well, and if that sounds super cool for you, all you have to do is follow the Twitter in this description and tweet at me your tactic. I'm going to release a tweet that goes out right at the same time as this video, and underneath that tweet I will pick some random tactics to review. I've been studying super hard on tactics and talking to people like Nap, so I feel confident enough to finally be able to make a video like that. If you want to be in it, respond to that tweet and make sure you're following me. I can DM you if that's the case, but I'm going to use it, and then we can talk, we can hang, we become best friends. You're the best man at my wedding, whatever. Back to the action. And that save is from TomTom123678, who is managing Perugia. Says, to be honest, my save's going well, but I would like some suggestions in general. Finished third in Serie A in my second season, though I do have a problem. How do I earn more money? My income is almost only from TV, and is there a way to get even more? Can I make my board give me a bigger chunk of the balance for the transfer budget? Yes. Tom, you can do that. So let's take a look at the financial situation. You have 84 million in the pocket. Your transfer budget was originally 23 million. You have 12 of it left. You are spending all of your payroll budget like a good, honorable citizen that's making plenty of money. So let's go make a board request. Finances. Increase payroll. Let's just see if that works. They rejected it. Sufficient to reach your objectives. The problem being, obviously, you can't get that money right now, and the board objectives for you are much lower than probably what you are achieving. So like the Champions League, be competitive, Serie A, mid-table. It's a double-edged sword here, but the higher that goes up, the more money the board is going to be able and willing to give you in that circumstance. And so if you can ask to raise those expectations, because you're going to be able to continue to compete for European play around the top of the table, you're going to have access to a lot more money. And I see that you are intelligently investing it. You're improving your facilities. You're raising the level of your club. That is smart. You're out here looking to sign wonder kids, as I see, or you're doing the right thing here. You definitely caved and signed an Azerbaijani wonder kid who wasn't quite good enough to be on the team, but that's okay. I do that all the time. He's 6'5". Your striker is so impressive physically. Can I have his number? Hey, it's the fish shirt. You're also in the Champions League. If you can get yourself out of the Champions League group stage, which if you can finish third in Serie A, you can definitely do. Not only does that give you the obvious prize money, it gives you the less obvious TV money, end of season allocation money from the Champions League. It gives you more sponsorship money and higher reputation, more attractiveness, not only to your fans, but to different players and wonder kids that you're going to try and sign. I think it is important to remind yourself, though, is that you are still one clear hop, skip, and a jump down from the top teams in Serie A. Now, you had a very good season last year. I would stick with the same tactics, keep the core together, play with the same striker, whatever. You need to start, now that you're in this position, signing people that you believe in the future can be world class. I saw you were signing some people that are 3.5 to 4.5 stars. You want to be signing 4 to 5 stars, especially on the star range that your team is currently on. Make sure you have the best scouts and coaches there to appraise those players. Unfortunately, because of the expectations the board has set, until you're given an opportunity to raise them, it does not look like they're too keen to give you too much more money. Next is Adam Boyd 12 with Motherwell. Got a relatively strong squad for the league, and I'm doing well league-wise, but I'm struggling to get a bit further in the Champions League. This is my favorite type of problem. Like, should I use a different tactic? Should you always want a low release, and players always want a low release clause in their contracts with no way to remove it, and that's probably because you're playing in a farmers league. Sorry, I just had never said that before. We're playing in Scotland with Motherwell. It looks like you're the type of team that's now able to win the league. You've won the league the past 2 seasons. You've crowned yourself the champion of Scotland, but you can't seem to make it in the Champions League. You got Porto and Chelsea, and you're close. Well, let's look at your team. Basically, should be able to eyeball this. You've got star players. Subasic, this dude's 4.5 stars for you, and this guy is good enough for you to be able to make a Champions League knockout stage. Issue here is crossing and finishing are bad, and he kind of needs one of the two if he's going to play one of those 2 positions, but he's definitely good enough. You said the Qatari Abdullah Ali, which, okay, yeah, this dude's great. And I think the important thing to realize is that you have great young players. And so something that a lot of people overlook is you've done the right thing. You've gone out, you've signed some great young players. And even though you've got these release clauses in their contract, if you take 48 million in, if you keep your scouting network maintained well, you kind of wire the world so you know where the great players are, even if you can't sign them. Well, then once Abdullah Ali's release clause is met, even though you would love to keep a Qatari wonder kid at all costs, he's 6'8", It's like the tallest dude in Qatar. Anyways, selling these guys is not the worst thing in the world, because guess what? If they put that release clause in the negotiation and hard lock it before you start, there is no magic trick to take that away. It's just going to be there. What I would recommend is, as soon as possible, attempt to renegotiate the contract, which isn't even possible because this guy's going to want to leave. So how much time do you have to either change his mind on that or lose him? You got 4 years. So I would basically, for the next 2 years, you're trying to build a team that matches Abdullah Ali's ambitions. Maybe the release clause gets met and he leaves anyways. There's nothing really that you can do about that. The thing is, you're on the right track. You just need to focus on not putting all of your pieces into the same pot. You've guaranteed yourself you're going to get into the Champions League every year now if you can keep winning Scotland. But it looks like, especially defensively, you've overlooked it a little more. Like this guy's not a Champions League knockout stage center back, right? He's the type of dude you'd want coming off the bench. And look, I love Gabriel Corbo. If you want to take the next step, you got to sign players that can get you there. It sounds simple, but it's actually hard to think about, because you're thinking about just signing a player that's going to make your team better. No, you're signing players that are going to make your team a lot better. That should be your only goal, because your goal is no longer to win Scotland. Your goal is to win the Champions League. So you wire the world, get a scout in every major region looking for hot prospects so that they adapt to it, and they are just, anytime a great player comes out of that region, you know. Next! I'm definitely going over 2 minutes per save. Sorry. I started off the season by having lots of shots, but I didn't score as much. I still don't score enough, and now my opponents are starting to score against me. That's a problem. Also, I want to wire the world what I'm broke. Your finances are okay. Your projections are essentially fluctuating around the same level that you're at right now, so it's not like you're losing a catastrophic amount of money. You're just not getting a lot of transfer budget. You only have $1 million left in your payroll, but that's not the question. You said, oh, okay, so we've played 9 matches. So let's check your SG, right? Let's go to competitions. Let's go to team detailed. You are 3rd in the league in expected goals for. That basically holds up to what you're talking about. Behind Ike, behind PAOK Thessaloniki, then it's Panathinaikos, it's you. Your expected goals against is 9th. So you've had a pretty good start to the season. I would honestly expect your expected goals to be worse than they are, because your formation is definitely exposed. It's a little wing heavy. Football Manager 21 doesn't value wing play nearly as much as Football Manager 20. You can still win with it, but seeing a formation where you go with that, that kind of pressure on the wing, I'm a little surprised that it works, I guess, as well as it does. You've definitely hit a little bit of a cold spell here. Let's handle the wiring the world thing first before you get into this. So you only have 3 scouts. You don't have enough money to wire the world. So you're going to have to figure out where you can wire specific areas. Match squad's only allowed 5 non-EU players. That's fine. North Africa, West Africa, Scandinavia. And then send your director, football general manager, or chief scout through Eastern Europe, or just Greece, whatever you want to do. But those areas are going to provide you with some players that are going to make your team a lot better if you are able to save up enough money to get them. But I think at this point, with the type of transfer budget you have, it might even be wiser to start trying to use this video again, where you can find free players or really low price players by just searching the dregs of the loan lists of major leagues. I would recommend that. I think where a team will absolutely blow you up is like a 4-2-3-1, because they will be able to create so many numbers against your back line, you're just going to be overwhelmed. So I think I would only play this tactic against teams I know I'm better than, and then I kind of like this to stifle attacking midfielders. If you're giving up the space between the lines, go to your second tactic, which you've named Panic. Well, yeah, I would use this more. And then if you are playing against very attacking wingers, maybe some inside forwards, having your fullbacks up like this can be very dangerous if you do not have a back 3 that's able to shift and kind of cover those sorts of things. And so do not be afraid to play like this. I mean, this is not the worst thing in the world. You drag this guy back and put him on support, he's going to look to get further forward from this position, but a retreat to a deeper position. This is more about making your defense sound, and just, if the emphasis on wing play continues to get shut down, you're not hooking up your crosses or whatever, try and focus on getting the ball through the middle a little more. And you can do that basically with this. Next! Ha! This dude's playing as Oriental Dragons. What did he say? This is Oriental Dragons, who I'm doing my Twitch save with right now. Brendan Aerosmith says, I need to get promotion to the next division. We can't beat the smaller teams as we lose the ball too often. So it's 2022. Look, you were projected to finish 14th. This is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Let's pull up a team report and look at some comparisons, because I feel like you're going to have a bit of a reality check when we start looking at this. Your team, when it comes to defending, is below average. Your team in the midfield, below average. Your team in attack, physically, your team is below average in everything except for natural fitness, which I cannot think of something less important. Mental, you do have the highest determination, so you're doing something right there. But I'm not seeing anything that's like we are a team that's going to be able to dominate and take control. Like, good technical level compared to everything else, but it just might not be in the cards for this season, and that might be why you're giving the ball up so much. But let's check this. We'll go to team detail. Your pass completion ratio, I mean, it's 16th. You're only completing 86% of your passes. Your loss of possession is actually mid-table. It's slightly above mid-table. Your average possession at 47%. So I think it might be that you're over-exaggerating, at least from what I'm seeing statistically, the role that losing the ball is playing in you struggling. You obviously want this to be a little bit higher. You've definitely given the ball away a good amount, but considering you're in 6th and you're 8th in the league in terms of giving the ball up, it's not something that I think is inherently dragging you down. Now, your pass completion is a struggle. This is hefty. This is dangerous. Look, playing on the wings is hard. And the way you've set the... Oh, come on. 3 deep lying playmakers? 3? I just need a moment. Never, ever. Who's putting the pressure? You have one guy putting the pressure on. One. You're hitting early crosses, though, so nobody was got any opportunity to get themselves into the box at all. Another pet peeve of mine is just thinking that you need to click literally everything on a tactic. I mean, you don't. Please burn this. Burn it with fire. Burn it with fire. I mean, you need like this, you know. You need some sauce like that. Right? You need pressure up the middle. If this is what you've been using to score 43 goals, like 3rd most in the league, you're either the luckiest person in the earth, or I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. You're doing some amazing things in a very different way than most people. I want to talk to you. I want to interview you. What the heck is going on? All right, Corinthian casuals. We've got Ethan. Team started off well, but now seems to be underperforming for the quality of the squad I've got. Also, it's an amateur team. Oh, that's fun. Well, what level are we at? We're in the pitching and Isthmian Premier Division. I don't even know what level that is, but if you want to find out where your team ranks when it comes to the rest of the league, whether you're underperforming, and I would say that you are underperforming because your team is definitely good enough to be competing around the top of the league, and it's not. What kind of not defense are you playing? The Ethan Guardiola. Well, here's the thing. Trying to Guardiola anything, I just don't like at this level, because if we're looking at the best players you have, they're just not going to be very good. So what you want to do at this level is you want to play a numbers game. You want to, when you're on the attack, you want to be able to create a numerical advantage. When you're defending, you want to be able to create a numerical advantage. You're like, well, how does that make sense? Isn't that what you're always trying to do? Yes, but I like what you have here. The 2 advanced forwards, super annoying to play against. Much less annoying to play against if you're running shorter passing and run at defense with a bunch of guys that, 1, can't really knock the ball around that much, and 2, if they run at the defense, they're probably going to give the ball away. If you're doing run at defense just because you like the way Kieran Cadogan runs with the ball, then tell him specifically as a player instruction to run with the ball. Don't tell your whole team to run with the ball, because they're very likely to just keep giving the freaking ball away. Your defense being absolute garbanzo beans too means that I would take somebody and put them as a defensive midfielder to shield your 2 center backs and try and make this easier. That's not going to cost you too much in terms of positioning. It's essentially what this guy was doing anyways. Even if he can't play that position, he'll learn in a week if you train him on it, especially considering he's 20 years old. Just easy. The tactic I use in extreme lower league situations is this, because I create a numerical advantage defensively. Their strikers are boxed in because everybody's playing direct, and we can get the ball up quickly with a little help from our friends on the outside. Please do that. Just try that for a little while. Try all of that. You don't want to be patient working the ball in the box, and only do this if your strikers are bad in the air. If not, just mix crosses or whip crosses into the box. Pass into space is fine, but come on, these dudes suck. Take advantage of it, because they suck too. Next, it's Ben with King's Lynn. So we're playing as King's Lynn at a fantastic cup run. I called out shocking Arsenal on Twitch. You did, Ben. Tips for next steps and like how to keep growing after that huge run. Scored a ton of goals. Gonna need to stop conceding cheap ones, especially next season if I go up. All right, well, what level are you at with Kings Lynn? We're in League 2, and it looks like you have 6 matches to go, and hopefully by the time this video is aired, you've actually made your way out. But what do you do to keep improving? Well, you got a big paycheck and your finances are feeling okay, and you're going to have a bit of a transfer budget, you are going to want to acquire a senior affiliate, and that's good. You've got one, right? I would look for another one or two, because until you get into the championship, you are not going to have the money to sign the type of people that are going to help you long term. You would just be wasting your money signing people that are going to help you short term. So if you can get senior affiliates that can provide you with free loans, not only does that save you wage space for signing the type of people that are going to help you win now, but won't help you win later, the type of people that you get for free or very cheap transfer moves to balance out your team. You're going to be able to loan those people in. You're going to use your loans wisely, because England's got those loan rules. You get like 3 or 4 guys, but you get a senior affiliate or 2. Use those loans wisely. Abuse the holy bejesus out of trials. Look in Scotland, look in Wales, and look in Ireland, because everybody in England is way too expensive. Hold off on investing in facilities until you get a bigger paycheck, though. That is so tempting. You get a big paycheck because you had a huge run into the FA Cup. Don't blow that money. Hoard that money. If you know of a few wonder kids, maybe you're able to go out and sign 1 or 2 that's going to fit into your team. League 2 to League 1 is a pretty easy transition. League 1 to the championship, in my opinion, the most brutal transition in the game. You're going to need your arsenal of resources to take care of that. Best of luck, by the way. Now for our last one. When it comes to results on the pitch, we're doing great. I don't even understand, but the team's overachieving massively. We're fighting for promotion with one of the worst squads in the league. It's basically a miracle. The problem's financial. I did stretch the wage budget slightly, but even then we have one of the lowest budgets in the league. We're losing money, and the club has low reps, so I can't attract sponsors and stuff. Well, what you're doing right now is designed to change that. Okay, so you were projected to finish, and we're in China, which is super cool. This is Henri Kesser in China, and you were projected to finish 14th. We're in the Chinese second league. Love how I just know that. Your team's definitely not good, but I like this. You talk about creating a numerical advantage. We got 6 guys defending every time. We've got 4 guys in the attack with 2 fullbacks coming up every time. I love that. This is a pretty fun formation to look at. There is nothing wrong with stretching the wage budget to give yourself a chance to pull off something like this. Now, I would, again, Avi, I'm always recommending loans. People just don't think about loans enough, especially the abstract ones from elsewhere in the world. You can't do that in China. You only have like 3 foreign players on your team. But a promotion to the top Chinese league is a huge paycheck, and you are in line for it. So right now, I wouldn't worry about the finances. I would, or the level of the talent of the team compared to everybody else. I'd worry about the game to game. There's not a lot you can do about the finances right now. You're not even over your wage budget. You are just spending your full wage budget to make things happen. And no matter what happened at the end of this season, you're going to get a reputation boost, and you are going to have more money available than you did the season before, because you are succeeding. You're doing exactly what you need to do. Don't doubt yourself now. Don't worry about things that you can't control. Great little tip, not just for Football Manager, but for life. But it definitely helps in Football Manager. That's some daily wisdom. That's some Zealand saves. I ran so far over time, but hopefully there's a lot of fun, insightful stuff for you in here.